That sounds like a drug deal. I'm just saying.
Sounds like a drug 9 p.m.
You got my paletas? And don't tell me. Michoacan? How do you say that? Michoacan?
Michoacan.
I wasn't too far off, but
That's good. I didn't see myself retiring from the county. I had 14 years to go. I had just recently blown out my ACL, MCL, all that stuff at work. She was working part-time at Costco, and our son was 1.5 years old. So we're like, let's give this a shot. I was scared because as a, breadwinner or whatever, taking a leap like that is scary.
my purpose in life is to challenge and inspire those around me. And a lot of the ways I do that is through just positive energy, but also just connections. So like you met Mason Ayer, who's the CEO of Kirby Lane Cafe, and other folks like that. I think that a lot of people want to give back and help the next generation of entrepreneurs. That's part of the reason this podcast is here. Yeah. And so I'm hoping there's somebody in the audience that would, love your story and want to see if they can help you in some form or fashion.
Absolutely.
And you're going to turn around and help others. Welcome to Unlocking Moves, where we want to cover those key pivotal moments and decision points that really change the lives of successful entrepreneurs and leaders. And I want to hear your stories because I think we learn the most and the best from stories. But I don't want to hear just your glory stories, guys. I want to hear your gory stories because, as I like to say, the bigger the shit show, the bigger the lesson. So my guests today are the husband and wife duo who have built an amazing shop called Ola Pop Shop in Kyle, Texas. And they're selling paletas and ice cream, among other things. And they've got some great stories to share with you today. And in fact, I love the fact that they're leveraging both their Mexican and American heritage with Ola Pop. So guys, you excited to get going?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you might know that I like to hit my guests up with an off-the-wall question or comment to really keep them on their toes, keep my audience on their toes. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Be honest. You guys are a husband and wife team. You make decisions all the time. But was there one key moment where one of you made a decision and the other person said, I don't know if that's the right call, but we'll do it anyway, or maybe we won't do it anyway? Anything like that comes to mind?
Yeah.
There's been a few, but he didn't go through it. But at the end of the day, he was like, that was a good call. That I think I wait and do it.
What was that? Tell me more.
I'll say this. Paulina has good intuition. A lot of times I'm like, hey, let's open up 10 stores or, and she's like, slow down or whatever. Ultimately, I see where she was going with it. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm glad she stopped me from my madness, because I tend to get like excited and like want to do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
She's the one that slows me down. But a lot of times, a good one, I think, is when we were in our store in downtown Kyle, very small. It was 800 square feet and it was time to grow. I happened to be driving by Plum Creek and I saw a spot that was vacant or leasing. And I told her, hey, what do you think about this? She was like, oh, we need to go for it. And the more I thought about the commitment and the build out and all that, I'm like, I don't think so. And so she was pushing to like, we need to grow, we need a kitchen. And so ultimately, I think that was, obviously the best decision for the business.
I love it. You've got the give and take and you can weigh each other out. You got a little bit of aggressive, a little bit of hold back, a little bit of creative, a little bit of operational. Sounds like you guys make a great pair. Yeah. We're going to get into all that, I promise you. As you can tell, my guests today are Paulina and Julian Hernandez, who are the co-founders of Ola Pop Shop, which, as I said before, is a very popular paleta and ice cream shop in Kyle, Texas. And Paulina is a third-generation entrepreneur, and they've been running this as a husband and wife team for several years, and they've been married for now 15 years as of this month. Mm-hmm. So first of all, congratulations, and second of all, welcome to Unlocking Moves.
And thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excited.
So I want to start with some basics. All right. So for my audience, who they're all across the country, mostly are entrepreneurs and whatnot, I'm not sure they know what a paleta is. And I'm not sure I could have told you specifically what a paleta is until we got to know each other a couple months ago. Tell me what a paleta is and why your shop is so popular.
So paleta is basically a old school Mexican frozen treat, usually made from, it started out with just fruit and water back in the day. And then somebody had the idea to mix it in with ice cream mix as well and sugar. And so
sugar makes everything better.
Yeah, it's basically just ice cream on a stick or the water-based one is just basically chopped fruit, the original way anyway, because everybody's done their own version over the years. But it's basically, for example, watermelon. You're going to get chopped watermelon, water, and cane sugar. And that should be like the traditional, original way of making it.
Okay.
People have done all kinds of crazy things over the decades, but we're sticking with the old school stuff.
Okay. Well, you say that. I know that's relatively healthy. Obviously, there's a little bit of sugar in it. It sounds relatively healthy. But I've been to your shop, and you have things like Oreo cookie and cream. You have a Cookie Monster, different things like that. So you've taken your own unique twist to it as well, it sounds like.
Yeah.
We have. There's several recipes where we take from my dad and my family. We have them, but I also try to have different options for people here.
Okay. So there's the Mexican and American heritage we
yes,
talked about. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. I've made a raspberry cream cheese birthday cake. So there's a few.
Okay, awesome. Well, I know that my sister-in-law lives in Kyle, and they rave about your shop. So tell me a little bit about what makes your shop so special. Why do your customers rave about you, and some of the uniqueness of your shop?
We try to concentrate on make people feel comfortable to come in, welcome. We want them to have a good quality on the paletas, also on the service. And everything has to be super clean. So those three are our top priorities: customer service, cleanliness, and quality.
To add to that, I agree. It's affordability. I think we're on par with like the big names in Austin in terms of pricing. But also, what makes us unique versus the big names in Austin is everybody does ice cream, and then we had to differentiate,
Nice.
and also highlight the heritage and her background.
I want to get to the background in a second, but before I do, let me ask you, of your customer mix, how many of them are coming in for paletas and for the traditional Mexican type of, popsicle, for lack of a better word, and how many are coming for cookie dough, ice cream on a stick?
I think it's half.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
half. Yeah. My favorite thing is when they come in for one paleta, they'll walk in and then they see the 35 or 40 flavors that we have on there, and then they start going, I want this is, they walk out with a dozen. They were there for one, but it's kind of like going to a donut shop. You can't just pick one. So
I've been guilty of that myself. I came home with a couple dozen of them. So awesome. Okay, so I'm going to butcher this name, but you guys, as I understand it, when you first started, you you phoned a friend, you reached out to your family business, and don't tell me, Michoacan? How do you say that? Michoacan?
Michoacan, yeah.
All right, I wasn't too far off, but
That's good.
and that's in Mexico. And you got them on FaceTime. You were going through some recipes. Tell me a little bit about that. That sounds like a crazy startup story.
Yeah, going back to the origins of how we started, her brother, it was actually, we phoned her brother.
It was my brother. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was her brother. And he was like, you guys need to open up a business. She was at Costco and I was at Travis County Sheriff's. And he was insisting on us opening up a shop. He's like, I'm going to teach you how to make everything. So I was just in the background doing my thing. But she would put the phone down in the kitchen, like lean it up against something. And I could hear them going back and forth, chop this, add this or whatever it was. And that went on for several days, maybe weeks. And she had like a little stash in the freezer. And then once we had enough popsicles or paletas in there, we started just giving them out to neighbors and friends. But it was the way she learned was through FaceTime.
Okay.
With her brother in Mexico.
That's how, I love that. The fact that you're on the phone with your brother who's teaching you how to do it basically from Mexico.
He had a lot of patience, but she works very fast. When she cooks at home, I get out of the way because she moves so quick and everything. And so she was chopping and the kitchen looked crazy with, all kinds of fruits and I got out of there. And
That's how I work best.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
as I understand it, that was in 2017?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we opened in 2017, but all that process with my brother zooming, that was 2016.
Okay. So let me get this straight. So you're making these in your garage and your kitchen.
Yes.
You've got you're giving them to family and friends. Obviously, they like them, or you wouldn't have gone to the next step, I assume. And then, as I understand, you had zero business knowledge. Somebody, one of you guys shared that with me. You were at Costco. You were at Travis County Sheriff. Zero business knowledge. Didn't even know what a DBA was, which is a doing business as a certificate. Wow. So tell me what happened next. So you now start selling them at some point. Are you selling them out of your car? Are you selling them from a food truck? Tell me what happened next.
No.
Today's episode is brought to you by Chinook Seedery, the best sunflower seeds ever. Available online at chinookseedery.com and Amazon, or wherever you get your seeds, including Buc-ee's, Dick's Sporting Goods, Shields, Love's Travel Stop, Circle K, and thousands of other locations around the country.
People will knock on our door and they wanted to pay us, and we're like, no, we're just trying.
That sounds like a drug dealer. I'm just saying.
Sounds like
Yes,
9
my-
p.m. Just
You got my
Husband.
paletas?
Husbands will show up and say, my wife is pregnant. She really wants the mango with chamoy or the Oreo.
Oh, that's
And-
awesome.
But we never wanted to accept money.
So the way we started, we did all that, and then we finally decided let's just do it. I didn't see myself retiring from the county. I had 14 years to go. I had just recently blown out my ACL, MCL, all that stuff at work. She was working part-time at Costco, and our son was 1.5 years old. So we're like, let's give this a shot. I was scared because as a, breadwinner or whatever, taking a leap like that is scary. So we began looking in places like Austin, everywhere except Kyle. And we lived in Kyle.
We looked in Kyle, but there was no
Development.
development.
There's no spaces to lease or anything. So everything pointed to Austin. Ultimately, we just found a little spot in Kyle where we started in downtown. And it was an office space. Somehow we convinced those owners to just lease it out to a couple of crazy, with no knowledge of business, to lease it out to us to get some ice cream going. They agreed. We stayed there 3 years. And I mean, when I say we didn't know what a DBA was, we didn't know anything. We didn't have any. Everybody that's in the business is back in Mexico. In Mexico, you don't need any permits, right? You just, hey, I want to sell ice cream.
Oh,
Just
you
do
do.
it.
You do.
It's very loose. Here, you have to go through all these processes, right? So I think we just learned along the way. Oh, now I need this. Now I need EIN. All this crazy stuff that needs to happen for you to be able to stay open.
But I think everything started when we went to go register our name. That was like the starting point.
Yeah.
After that, we just asked the person who helped us register the name. And we're like, what do we do next? What's the next step? And from that person, send us to CD of Kyle. And then from there, we were just like asking questions. And who do we go now with? And that was just go with this person, go with that person. And that's how.
Yeah. And that was our experience with a smaller community like Kyle. They want to help. You go to Austin, they're just like, get in the back of the line.
Yeah.
And so our connection to Kyle has been special in that regard, that we still do a lot of business with the city and a lot of events and stuff because they embrace us from day one.
Nice. I'm glad you were able to find that first shop in Kyle, because it would have been sounds like a different story in Austin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, before we get going any further, I have a lot of questions I want to ask you about the business. But before we get going, I think we need to sample a product or two. So I know you brought some a cooler with some paletas and some ice cream too, right?
Just rub the paleta. They melt a little bit slower, and that drive was a little bit crazy. But we have some dairy and some non-dairy.
All right, let's try one of each on air.
good.
I got some napkins here.
So we've got, this is strawberry lemonade. This is one we make during spring and summer.
Okay.
This is lime cucumber, another spring and summer one.
Sounds very refreshing.
We have butter pecan, which is Texas favorite. We have this is really good. It's Mexican vanilla and strawberry.
Okay.
And got some pistachios, some mango, watermelon. This is a personal favorite of mine. This is orange cream. Did you try this already?
I don't think we have.
This is good. I mean, there's not a bad one in here. But yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to go strawberry lemonade.
Sounds good.
It's one of my favorite flavors of almost anything. So I'm gonna try that. I also want to try either the orange cream or the strawberry.
Both really good.
Yes. All right, so you're gonna put the pressure on me to like it on air. And so I know, spoiler alert, I'm gonna like it because I've tried their products before, and I got a couple of cases I brought home to my nephews who loved it.
So that's a springtime. It won't do well in the winter.
Yep.
But a lot of lemon goes in there, lots of strawberry.
That is absolutely delicious. This is strawberry lemonade. So can you give me the recipe, or at least roughly? So strawberry, lemon, sugar, water.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
That's wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to keep it clean. Paulina's doing a really good job at phasing out a lot of the food dyes.
Okay.
So we're trying to get away from that as much as we can, or when able to. For example, our watermelon used to be a dark red watermelon.
Okay.
Because she had some red dye. Now it looks like pale, but still as
Still has the
delicious.
same flavor.
I like it, and it's more natural.
It's more
Yeah.
natural.
Let me try one of those, either the strawberry cream or the orange cream as
The
well.
orange cream.
Yeah, orange cream.
We'll put that back in there. We're going to save that for after lunch here, fellas. All right. I don't know if all this crinkling is showing up on air. Sorry about that, guys. But you just got to bear with us. So you're not going to eat one with me. You eat enough of them.
I can't.
She can't. I can, but I eat so many of them that I'm like tapped out.
Poor Paulina. She had surgery on Friday, and she's going a little bit slower with the mouth today.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. I appreciate
No.
being here.
Pleasure.
All right, this is orange cream. You call it?
Orange
sir.
and cream, yeah. And she likes to put a big wedge of like the orange you see there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to eat the orange wedge too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically
It's freaking ice cream.
it's ice
It's ice
cream.
cream in
You
a
can
bar.
call it Palette all you want, but this is ice cream.
Ice cream in a bar.
with fresh squeezed OJ.
Oh, man. So tell me the recipe on this one. So obviously some sort of cream.
It's an ice cream mix with the
With the fresh OJ.
fresh OJ, and then of course the OJ wedge there.
Do you squeeze the oranges yourself for the fresh OJ?
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
So these are like kind of like a swirl. It's sometimes you get a bite of ice cream, sometimes you get ice cream and and orange at the same time. It's
That is absolutely delicious. Okay. So, pardon me while I put some of our audience, a lot of our audience is in Central Texas. We got a lot of folks elsewhere. How can I get these somewhere else? Can you ship them to me? Can I, anything going with that?
we don't ship out yet. You'd have to come to Kyle, or if you're working on a like I think we're doing applied materials next month. We do a lot of corporate stuff.
Okay.
So if you're thinking of like, hey, we're having a spring event or a summer event for the employees or something, you can always call us out and we can cater.
Wait, let's pause on that. So let's repeat that because I want to make sure my audience knows they will cater Ola Pop Shop to your corporate events, to your birthday parties, to other events.
Weddings, anniversaries, all kinds of stuff.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So all you got to do is just go to the website. So we can come to you if you're in the Central Texas area. And, it's a good way to, it's catering for our business has allowed us to raise awareness in areas that people that don't come to Kyle, like we can reach, people in like Westlake or Pflugerville or,
Yeah.
different areas. So that's one way to, find us or have us come to you. The other thing that's in the works right now is we're opening up a second store in Buda.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You guys are growing.
Yeah. So the growth, we've been patient with, first we had our son was super small, like really, really young when we opened. Then we moved into the second shop with COVID. So that was an interesting ordeal there. We finished out the build out in March of 2020. Here's your keys. A week later, COVID. So we're like, what's going to happen here? And so we went through all that.
Wait. You didn't just go through all that. Tell me about some of that, because that's a story of survival.
Yeah.
You had what in hindsight looks like a bad decision, but really it's you got hit by something that everyone else got impacted by. How did you survive that? How did you come through it? How did you thrive?
So again, your keys, nice doing business with you. I remember everything was kind of like, it was a lot of noise with COVID, oh, they're shutting down Italy and all this crazy stuff. So then it hit us, close everything down. That was a week between the keys and opening.
Oh,
she had made about 800, maybe 1,000 popsicles to start out the new location. But there was so much uncertainty that we're like, what's going to happen here? So what we decided to do is let everybody on social media know, hey, come on out. There's nothing on. People are stuck at home. Come on out, drive around the building. We'll get a little line going. And then going back to my law enforcement days, I'm like, I put everybody on like radios. So they were, sending in the radio, hey, I got 4 mango, 7 lime, whatever, right? And then the person inside is just writing down the order, walking it out, and people were paying with their Square or, their phones. And so we got through that the first 3 months.
Yeah, 2 months. And then people will show up in their bikes or even walking through
Yeah.
the drive through. And they were so thankful because they were like, this is the only thing that we
This
can
is the
bring our
highlight.
kids
Yeah.
instead of being inside. We just bring them out with
Yeah.
the bikes and walking, and we come and get a treat, and then we go home. Like,
So going back to that day one when we opened, people were excited. The line never stopped till about 5 p.m. Whatever she had made for that weekend was sold out like in 5 hours. We just knew like this is gonna be nuts. The radio thing worked. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it worked. And then about 3 months after doing that, 2, 3 months of doing that, we decided, you know what, screw it. Let's just open up the doors. If they come and shut us down, we'll just apologize and whatever.
I love that spoken like from a former cop saying, "Hey, we'll
I mean, I've been removed from that environment for a while now. Now I'm like, I mean, it was just like a weird time. Everybody, we were all
Yeah.
affected some
I
way.
think everybody was done. Yeah.
Trust me, I know for sure.
Yeah.
I love that you took that approach.
Yeah. So
And you were an oasis in the desert for these folks
Yep.
in the Kyle area.
people were just stuck. What do I do with these kids? Let's walk over to the shop, So
Yeah.
it was a strange time, but also it made us feel good that we gave people something to look forward to.
And it was your early days, so you came out of that stronger than you started, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a
in
community now that loves you even more.
Yeah. People
Yeah.
still remember those, hey, for me, it's cool seeing some of those people that started going there, or even the downtown location. They'll bring their kids, 4 years old, 3 years old,
Yeah.
and now they'll come to me at HEB, like a teenager with a mustache, and hey, how you doing? And time just goes by quick. So
Yeah.
that is one of the cool things about being in a small community versus
Yeah.
like a large, bigger city like Austin.
Yeah. So, and you have a child. How old is your child?
He's 10 now.
Okay, so you're going to notice it with his friends. 10 years old, you recognize them, and all of a sudden they start getting mustaches and start going through puberty, and they look totally different. It's
Yeah.
like, I know you from somewhere. Yeah, I'm your son's
Yeah.
best friend.
Especially that age, 13 to 16,
Look at that
12
spurt.
to 16, they change so much.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the business. Is there anything about the business that would surprise your customers? The margins, the labor percentage, the spoilage. Is there anything like that we want to talk about?
There isn't a lot of spoilage.
Okay.
If she tells me, hey, I need 8 watermelons from Costco, they're getting made that day. And the only thing she's throwing out is just, whatever we can't use. So there isn't any spoilage. Every once in a while, we'll get a bad batch of dairy, which is super rare. We have to taste everything. That's why she didn't go for it. So we taste everything like that's
How are you not 400 pounds? That's what I don't
I
understand.
just taste. I don't eat. No.
Well, she runs like crazy, but so no spoilage. I think no. I mean, I think that's a fun fact. Nothing goes to waste. The overhead is not like a restaurant. If you
Unless we leave a freezer open, and
Yeah,
if
that's happened
that's
before.
happened before, we have to.
Speaking of, we better
throw-
put that back in the
Yeah.
cooler
Yeah.
so I can eat it later.
yeah, you want to pause it?
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But yeah, the margins. I love the margins because again, that's one of those things that we don't waste anything.
Yeah.
We're just buying thousands and thousands of cups and spoons, and it seems like, hey, I just brought 10,000 spoons, and they're gone. It's a good
That's a good
problem.
thing.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Spoons are like 2 cents a piece or something. So
Yeah, and you mentioned spoons, just so my audience knows that in addition to the popsicles, they also sell ice cream that you eat with a spoon. So if you don't want to eat it on a stick, you can have it
yeah.
with a spoon. Okay, can I talk a little bit about your side hustle that's going with this with the co-packer and potentially selling in other stores? Is that something that we can talk about?
So it's a line of for like C-stores, convenience stores.
Okay.
It's only 4 flavors. It's been in development for about almost 2 years, but now we're at the point where it's ready to be distributed. Like I know it. So it's a company out of the East Coast,
Yeah.
and they're starting out with like some channels out there, whether out of New York or Pennsylvania, places like that.
Does it have the name Ola Pop, or what's the name of it?
No, so it's a joint venture,
Okay.
completely separate. We didn't want to mix the two. This is our baby.
But it's your recipe. It's your.
But
It's
It's her recipes, and it's a company that already makes a bunch of different popsicles,
Okay.
but more like the corn syrup side. I don't want to say
Right.
anything bad.
I got you. I got you.
But they wanted to try out something more natural.
Okay. What
That's-
4 flavors are there going to be, and where can I find them, or will I be able to find them?
Initially, that one is going to be distributed through like Cisco and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think Cisco from there will figure out which way they want to go with those. But right now we're starting out with mango, lime, strawberry, and coconut.
Okay.
So one dairy. Those are just super classics. Like everybody
Yeah.
loves those 4.
Okay.
What happens after that, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that probably will launch in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Keep me posted, and
Yeah.
actually, this episode will air probably about that time, maybe in that same time frame.
Maybe by then, you can walk into a 7-Eleven or something and pick up a bar. Yeah.
All right, I love it.
They're not exactly. You can't capture this in a warehouse or in a factory.
Yeah,
But they try to get it as close as they could.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So if you want the real thing, you
go to
come here.
Kyle. All right, I love it. I've got a rapid fire segment where I can ask you 5 or 6 questions really fast, and you can tell me the answer that comes to mind.
All right.
All right, let's ask about you guys. So it's a husband-wife team it's not incredibly rare, but it's pretty rare to have a functioning husband-wife team building a business. And as you know, it's a challenge,
Yeah.
and I'll just leave it at that. But let me ask you some rapid-fire questions. Okay, who's the better business operator?
That's tough. Operations, her. I do better with paperwork and dealing with IRS and all that.
All right, perfect. And you balance each other out, which is what we talked about before.
She doesn't know how much we have in the bank account, which is great because she doesn't do this for money. But somebody's got to do it. So
Yep. No, I love it. That's great. In fact, you mentioned that you spend a lot of your waking hours of free time dreaming up ways to grow the business, which is
100%, yeah.
classic. Yeah. What's the old saying? Revenue is for show, and the bottom line or EBITDA or cash flow is really where it's at.
yeah.
I think it's the same. Okay, who's more stubborn?
Me.
Her.
I love the self acknowledgement. Okay, who apologizes first?
Me.
Good husband.
Married a long time. You know the drill.
Exactly. Who spends more money?
Ooh, we're both pretty frugal.
Yeah.
I think maybe her because she's always buying. She runs a lot, so she's like I get a box of some sort of vitamin or some pre-workout mix in the mail. So maybe her, but we're both easygoing with that.
That's right. I heard you're an ultra marathoner and run marathons. That explains why you're not 400 pounds. It's not because you just dabble and taste it. Okay, who had the worst idea early on?
Maybe Julian.
Probably me. I don't what that was. I don't know, but
10 stores. We need to be in 10 stores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's good at pumping the brakes on my crazy ideas.
Okay, what was the closest time? Maybe it was that COVID year, but what was the closest time where you said, "Man, this might not work"?
We've had
I've never
one.
thought that.
Yeah,
all right.
we don't. Yeah,
I'm always looking forward
Yeah, I don't think we've had a moment where we're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
or being tough.
It's been 9 years, and I think we still love what we do. So
There's been moments where at the beginning where I will cry, but never thought of quitting.
Yeah, awesome. I love you've got a passion for what you're doing, which is key. You've also got that grit to kind of get through anything, and you were able to pivot and respond to challenges. What you guys did during COVID, for example, is a great story, great pivot. Okay, let me flip it. Is there any questions you guys have for me? I know we were originally connected because you reached out and asked me some questions about your business.
no, I love your story. I read about you. That's how I found you. It was kind of tricky, like finding you, like connecting with you, but ultimately it was cool when you responded. But I love that. I love what you do. Like you set us up already with somebody, I like talking to people that are doing what I want to do or where I want to go.
Yeah.
And so I look up to you in that way. You connected us with a local business owner that's very successful here. So that was cool. The point we're at now is growth is coming, whether it's by stores or the production or whatever it might be, that at some point I don't want to focus so much on. My role is, like I said, all the paperwork and all that. And I still show up and work the shop, because the culture and everything in there sort of set the tone. But at some point, I'm going to have to get away from all that and focus on meeting people like you and going to events and stuff like that. So I just appreciate the time and the opportunity you've given us. So
Yeah, you bet. My purpose in life is to challenge and inspire those around me. And a lot of the ways I do that is through just positive energy, but also just connections. So like you met Mason Ayer, who's the CEO of Kirby Lane Cafe, and other folks like that. I think that a lot of people want to give back and help the next generation of entrepreneurs. That's part of the reason this podcast is here.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping there's somebody in the audience that would, love your story and want to see if they can help you in some form or fashion.
Absolutely.
And you're going to turn around and help others.
Yeah. Or, I like to, if somebody in the audience ever wants to discuss like more in depth of what we do, I'm always open to that. I get a lot of young people in the Kyle area. Hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? I want to talk to you about business. I always say yes, because I can't go to you and say, hey, let's talk business. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. They have to come to me, and I make the time to teach them what I know, from a guy that didn't know anything about like a DBA or anything to whatever I know now. So,
dude, that's amazing. It's great that you've got that experience. It's great that you're sharing that experience. So thank you for that. Okay, so we're at the part of the show where we want to talk about your unlocking move or moves. And again, this is a key pivotal moment, decision point, some event that really changed the trajectory of your business. Or your life, right? Maybe just the fact that you decided to listen to your brother and open the shop is perhaps one. So what might be a good one for you guys?
I'll go first. Paulina can do her own. For me, it was, I didn't know it then, but when I blew out my knee, it was July of 2016. Yeah, I went home and did all the rehab and the surgery and all that. I didn't know it, but I knew somehow that I didn't want to do that anymore. I started out young at the sheriff's department, and then at that point, I was like, oh, I'm just going to rehab and go back. But like little things like this started to happen with her brother on the phone and things like that. So at that point, when I saw the people knocking at 9 p.m. at night, I was like, there might be something here. So that was like the light bulb moment for me. And that's when I decided, as scary as it was, I started looking for a place to lease, like a small starting point.
Yeah.
And so that was my, my moment.
So let's pause there for a second, because you're at the sheriff's department and you tear your ACL, your MCL. For a lot of people, that's woe is me. I'm going to be bedridden. God hates me, whatever. And you shifted the narrative to say, okay, how can I use this for good? And you've changed your life as a result of that. I just want to use that for encouragement for my audience who something bad happens. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it's different than the way you expected or wanted it to go.
Correct.
But good things can come of that.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that.
100%.
Were you chasing a drug dealer? Were you running from a dog? Any good story there we want to tell me about how it happened? It fell down the stairs.
It's not even like a cool. I mean, it was taking down a guy. It was inside the courtroom in downtown, and the guy started getting mouthy and loud and everything. And so I'm trying to remove him, right? So I grab him from his, from the back or whatever. But then my coworker runs and grabs him from the front. So we're both tugging this guy back and forth. The guy's just standing there like, what do you guys want? So I'm like, all right, I got to get this guy on the ground so we can cuff him. I put my right foot behind his legs and I try to do the takedown. And I just hear my knee. Oh. Like if you take like a celery stick and you break it. I heard that. And then the room went dark. And I'm like, that's not good.
Oh, geez.
And so, again, I wish I was, climbing some fences and jumping over, like a couple buildings. It wasn't like that. It was just a takedown, and it happened quick.
Well, thank you for sharing. I probably would have embellished a little bit, but it's
I wish I could.
We're keeping it here real here on yes. Lucky Moves. Okay, Paulina, tell me about what comes to mind for you.
I think working at Costco. I loved working at Costco. It was very fast paced. I like working at a fast pace, and I was like, I can work like this for myself. And then the day I quit, when I went to the office and I told my store manager, I'm like, I think this is it. And I had to bring a letter, everything. And after I walked out that day, my last day, I was like, this is it. Like, this is my chance to do something. I've always wanted to do something for myself. And I think he always did too. But we didn't know what. And after I quit that job, Costco, I learned a lot from working there in that company. It made me realize that I was ready for the next step.
So Costco, what I liked about Costco is they're super like, hey, this needs to be sanitized. Like they're very.
I was working in the bakery.
Okay. So yeah. So
And before that, I was a bartender. I worked in restaurants, and I love people. So I thought Costco taught me to be very disciplined on the clean, get there on time, customer service, everything. So after that, I thought I was ready for the next step, and
Yeah.
that's when I told Julian we need to do something.
So when we quit our jobs, what is that saying? We burned the boats.
Burn the boats. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no going back.
I love it.
They thought I was crazy at the department when I did my 2-week notice. Like, what, ice cream? And these kind of, whatever. And so seeing that reaction was scary because I'm like, what if they're right? There's a lot of doubts.
They make you
For sure.
doubt. They doubt.
Yeah.
They make you doubt for
And
sure.
when people come to me and say, hey, I got a little side hustle, it does well. What's your advice? I'm like, just jump in all the way. Don't put your toe in the water or if you treat it as a side hustle, it kind of stays a side hustle.
Mm.
So my advice, I'm not saying it's right, but it's what worked for me.
Yeah.
It's just all the way.
Man, I love that perspective, and I appreciate you guys sharing that. And you're right. It's not for everybody, but man, it's almost like that day never comes unless you just make the leap and literally burn the boats behind you.
Yeah, people wait for the right moment. But there's no right moment. It's like having a child. You always wait to have a baby when it's the right moment. It's never at the right moment. You just have to do it. Yeah.
Do it and trust whatever faith you have. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay, so I like to consider myself the listener's advocate. If I'm listening to this podcast, I'm like, what would I want Kurt to ask? And so the question I came up with was this. What's something about your partner that makes him great as a business partner but drives you crazy at home?
Patience. He's too patient.
He's too patient. Okay.
Yeah.
For me,
He takes his time.
I got you.
I did take my time. Like I said, we're growing the business finally. It's been 9 years. But now I feel like before I was just kind of tied. I was kind of like an employee of myself or of the business. Now I'm able to go and sit down. We're able to go and sit down to do something like this or, stuff. And so now is the time for us to take that next step. So yeah, I am pretty
he's
patient.
patient. He has a lot of patience at work, but then at home I'm like, can you take the trash out? And it says there for him. I'm like, now.
Well, I had to learn to be patient at the sheriff's department. Otherwise, you're getting in a fight every single time. For me, it's the chaos when she's making stuff. She makes the most delicious food at home, but the mess that's left behind.
But I still clean it at the end of the day.
I help. But anyway, that drives me. It's perfect at work.
That's how
Because at work, you just you got a giant trash can. You just do this.
But I'm at work. I'm very organized.
Oh no, it's not a
Like,
complaint. It's just like
weird. It's
I'm
weird.
answering the question.
All right. I probably shouldn't have asked that.
No, I love
No,
it.
we know.
One story I like to tell regarding working with your significant other. In the beginning, we try to work the same hours, and it was just constant fighting.
Mhm.
And so we're like, I think we need to schedule ourselves when we're away from each other, and that solved about 85% of the bumping heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's good counsel. Good counsel. One last question, and this is a trick question. But what is one question that you're never asked, and either you wish they would ask, or you're secretly glad that they don't ask?
Ooh, secretly glad that they don't ask. They don't ask how I sleep at night.
Okay.
So, in the beginning, it was kind of crazy, just the stress, that just comes with owning anything. So the stress levels, they've gotten way, way better. In the beginning, it was so busy that I didn't have time to really process everything. I was stressed out, but I didn't know I was stressed out. Just busy with the production and the sales and everything. Now it's just kind of like on cruise control, I would say. But I'm kind of glad people don't ask me, hey, is it stressful opening up a business? Because the answer is always going to be yes.
Yeah.
It's never easy, but is it rewarding? 100%.
Yeah. They always think that I'm always like calm but they don't know the chaos and the overwhelming I'm inside. But maybe that's why I run so much.
That's got to be a stress reliever for sure. I think of what's the phrase, like a duck on the water.
Yeah.
Like on the top, they look very calm, but underneath they're paddling like crazy. And that's
Pretty
what
much
it's like to be.
that, yeah.
And people look at you and like, oh, lucky them. They've got this
Oh.
great shop, but they don't realize how much work you put
Right.
into it.
Yeah, 100%.
So where else, where can we find out more information about you if we want to have you cater an event in Westlake or elsewhere? Where can we find out about you guys?
You can just visit the website,
olapopshop.com. Okay.
We're also pretty easy to find on either
Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok.
Okay.
We are trying to connect with more local foodie influencers around here. We find that in 2026, that is more impactful than sponsoring your own posts.
Yeah.
We had a pretty fun experience in December, and we saw the sales go up for the things he was highlighting.
Okay.
So if you're an influencer, welcome to come to the shop.
Well, I've got tens, if not dozens, of followers, so you're going to get a lot of business from
yes,
from this.
absolutely. But yeah, that's one way to find us is the website or the socials.
Okay, awesome. Ola Pop Shop is the handle on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Hey, on that note, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Please go like and subscribe to Unlocking Moves wherever you consume your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and especially give a 5-star review for this particular episode. And Paulina and Julian Hernandez, thank you so much for joining me on Unlocking Moves.
Yeah, appreciate you.
If you're an entrepreneur and you think you might have outgrown a member of your team, or maybe you've got a mic, as we talked about in Who's Your Mic, check out this quiz at who'syourmic.com/quiz. That's who'syourmic.com/quiz.